Hi everyone. I'm gonna to do this video in English because I'm gonna to talk about the black legend that the British invented because the British they were the maximum enemy of the Spaniards during the Spanish Empire, and in many occasions they tried to defeat the Spaniards and the Spanish Empire by force, and they couldn't. So the only form to doblegate the Spaniards was creating or using a geopolitical strategy, creating a narrative that make hatred and create hatred in the American people against the Spaniards and creating in the Spanish people the sensation as being oppressors and criminals and make us feel like we were horrible persons because we victimize, suppress the Native American when in reality does not happen. And as a fact, below the Rio Grande in Mexico, the majority of the people in all Hispanoamerica are mixed race in a 90% with 20 or 30% pure indigenous people and other 20% maybe pure European and the rest totally mixed race and all of them. And when it happened, the people that many of them die was for the diseases that the European bring, such as viruela, flu, and they got sick and die. No, in the opposite, like in United States, when they moved to the West, they found that Geronimo speaking Spanish and was baptized, and all the Indios Mesa and all the tribes there, Western Arizona, Colorado, many of them they has been entreated by the Spaniards. In California, all of them they were annihilated. They were annihilated by the American United States white people. That is the reality. Other things as well, they start to attribute from themselves many things that is not the reality. For example, in in order to create this narrative, for example, the the role of John Smith in the Pocahontas movie was based in a Spaniard named Juan Ortiz, who was a Spanish sailor that was hijacked and hauled by Native American in Florida. Robinson Crusoe was based in another Spanish captain named Pedro Serrano that he survived as a castaway in a shipwreck in a sand island in the middle of the Caribbean. And that happened in 1526. Then Livingstone, when the things that he discovered 2 centuries before was discovered by the Franciscan missionary named Pedro Paez, and that was 2 centuries before. Then Darwin copy from Felix de Azara, and when he wrote his book Darwin, he named Felix de Azara that he is speaking about the evolution of the species and talking about the the evolution of the species and the correlations with all the animals and the environment. And that happened almost 2 centuries before. But when he wrote the book and named it and then in the original version he erased totally that name. When Cook arrived in Hawaii, he found native in Hawaii, the Hawaiian, just cooking with casseroles and just gabbling Spanish words. That is another thing. And Hawaii was discovered by the Malagueño men, Spanish men, named Ruy López de Villalobos in the mid of 1500s. And then La Antártida was discovered by Gabriel de Castilla in 1601. But Cook, in 1760, when the British conquered Manila, just arrived at the city, conquered, they took the maps, that the Spanish maps that we got there in the city, and then Cook following these maps, and he arrived to the Antarctica, and he put the medal that he discovered when in 1601 was discovered previously for Gabriel de Castilla. That is another thing. And they write the historic books because at that time they were the winners and because they infiltrate all the parts of the society. Remember the Freemasons. The Freemasons, they infiltrate all governments, they infiltrate everything. They put this part of the history. And another thing as well, in New Zealand, when Cook took the food there, he found Spanish descendants, people descendant from the Spanish people. And other thing as well, talking about the Spanish galleons totally full and loaded of gold, only the 3% were captured, nothing more. And in the opposite, the biggest maritime botin, I don't remember the word, how this says, as a capture, war capture. These goods, when you get a ship and you get it, the biggest was Luis de Cordova y Cordova when he captured in one go 55 ships. And he recovered, but these have not been named totally. And for example, Blas de Lezo, he destroyed almost 18 ships with his galleon. And at the end, he surrendered the galleon because he finishing without powder and ammunition to carry on combating the combat. So he must stop it. And that is written historic facts. It's written historic facts. I don't inventing anything. It's there. Just seeking and you searching, you find out. So Alaska was discovered as well by an Spaniard. And exactly as in Taiwan. Taiwan, we have been in Taiwan, the Spaniards as well. So Drake swimming, escaping, leaving his brother at the time the Spaniards just destroying his fleet, and his Drake, the Admiral Drake, just escaping swimming. So there is many things. They start to talking about the Spanish Armada, how we have been defeated, blah blah blah, all the bad things, and all these historic facts. They has been. The history is history. You have to say everything, good and bad. You have to be truthful. Yes, okay. You don't like to hear the truth. Yes, of course, indeed. There is good guys and bad guys. Always has been bad guys in all the parts. But the most important thing is the proportions. How much good you do, how much bad you do. I hope this clarify the things and just look historic fact. That's